we have a session that will talk about the future of customer experience, the evolution of customer journeys, and expectations, and explore if customers and brands really see eye to eye. To talk about the same, we have Mr. Ibrahim Al-Mohamed, Vice President and Managing Director of KSA Uniphonic. Mr. Ibrahim is a thought leader with a focus on advanced business analytics and data mining, artificial intelligence, and customer experience. Let's welcome him on stage with a huge round of applause. Mr. Ibrahim, can we please have you?
Thank you very much. Good morning. Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me? All good? Okay. So I'm here to talk to you about more customer experience. So this time, inshallah, about the future. I'm pretty sure that you had enough share of information for the first part of the morning. And I'd like this to be as engaging as possible. I only have, 300 slides and 15 minutes, inshallah, so we'll run through this very, very quickly. Show of hands. Who remember the time before the internet? So we know the old people in the room. So if you remember the time when the internet was invented, there was a great push against the internet and what it could be. People claimed that the experience of actually reading a newspaper cannot be replaced. The experience of learning cannot be digital, cannot be online. The experience of actually buying something or commissioning a service can never be replaced. I think we all know that this is entirely not true. I'm not going to go through the timeline because I'm going to speak about what the future of CX could look like. But before the internet, there used to be a physical store, long queues, limited variety of products, personalized attention, whether you like it or you don't, it depends on the attention. And then things have evolved with the .NET, with the invention of the iPhone, the App Store, and then with social media applications, and the future looks combined. I'm going to tell you how in the next few slides. So, the undeniable fact is digital transformation has changed how we interact with each other, how we interact with the brands that we like, how we interact with government services as well. It disrupted everything. And expectations of the customers has also grew. They have developed zero tolerance for digital inconvenience. If they don't like your service, they will switch to the next provider. If they don't have an option, they will actually bully you on social media, which is even worse, right? So a huge bargaining power for the clients in this age and time. And if you look at the demographics, things will even grow more pressing. So a competitive market, CX is not an option. CX is mandatory. CX can actually make or break an organization. And this is very well known for CEOs, CIOs, CMOs, and that's why, according to an IDC survey, 60%, 6 out of 10 CIOs actually are developing a CX strategy, if not has executed so. But how does it really look like out there? How many of you actually handle a CX project or have a brand or a service that provide to consumers, citizens? So how many of you think actually you provide a satisfactory or excellent customer service? It's okay, people are good ratio, maybe half of you guys. In a survey by Qualtrics, 80% of CEOs believe they deliver superior experience. 80%. Another survey with CMOs this time, I think around 66% of CMOs think they deliver a satisfactory or excellent experience. In this survey, only 8% agree. You see the gap? 92% disagree. In the CMO survey, I think it's about 10% agree. So that's a 90% disagree. And that's, my dear friends, what we call the experience gap. I think you heard about it, you know about it. Most importantly, what will we do about it? Zero tolerance for digital inconvenience. The world is changing, the competition is always there, more people are entering to the market, and there is this gap. So how do we capture the opportunity? How do we bridge the gap? In my humble opinion, technology cannot do it alone, right? You need people, processes, and we just heard in the previous panel that these three have to work together. But without technology, you cannot deliver any change. So technology is the only catalyst for change. You need technology in every single transformation. You can change people, you can change processes. If you do not adopt technology, you will not be able to capture the opportunity. But what are the trends that are actually shaping the future of CX? So there are many trends going on out there, many technological advancements. Many businesses actually go up and go down. But I think these 3 or 4 pillars, it depends where do you stand, shape what a great customer experience could look like in the future. There is an apparent rise of communication channels that should ignite more conversations. In the timeline earlier, we mentioned the development of apps. So there is an app for customer service, there is an app for purchasing, there is an app for events, 3 apps for 1 brand. And this is very moderate. There are some organizations that had 13, 14 apps. Right? One-way communication. In the era of COVID and accelerated by COVID, we have seen live chats inside the apps, right? We've seen conversations. We've seen more adoptions of more useful channels like WhatsApp. WhatsApp has the highest penetration in Saudi more than anything else in the world. We've seen as well a lot of social media traction. You buy things over Snapchat, Instagram, right? I mean, my daughter is 5 years old and she's already buying stuff from Instagram. A bit scary, but it is a reality, right? So channels are evolving. More channels are there. More conversational channels are there. And this is a trend that will continue to be there. It will continue to shape a great or bad customer experience. It depends what you do about it. The second trend is the rise of AI. Automation, machine learning. There are different levels of AI. And I studied data mining in college, and AI was a concept for 25 years that have been taught in universities. But the applications of AI are very apparent now. Automation is no longer a luxury, it's actually a needed element to run efficiently. You know what happened with ChatGPT, right? That's a different level of AI, of course, but the applications are endless. And if you don't have that in your recipe, I think you're missing on a great opportunity. And of course, the previous panel talked about personalization, and I don't mean dear first name, last name, I mean actual personalization with empathy during the different moments of the engagement of the clients. I'll double click on these items as well in a bit, but I only have 7 minutes, so I'll try to cover as much ground as possible. And the last point is the rise of security and compliance requirements. So the rise of security and compliance is not a joke. This is something that will continue to be pressing on your technological landscape when you develop your CX strategy. So, what I mean by the rise of channels. Have you heard of the term phygital? I read it at Forbes. Phygital is basically physical plus digital. And it is something real. It's not a myth. When was the last time you went to a car showroom where there is no digital chaos, where you didn't really actually have to access a digital channel to either complete a transaction or provide a feedback? Phygital is real, and it's a trend, and you have to be ready, basically, to adopt and embrace more channels. We talked about that. The challenge is, how can you provide a consistent experience and aligned experience across all these channels? Physical, digital, online, offline, on device. This is the true challenge. Consistent experience. Consistent good experience, I might add. Also, more people are actually experiencing digital fatigue. And that's the point of conversations. It's not clicks. So we have to be able to engage your customers at the moment of their desire. And remember, every experience matters. When he's thinking about your brand, when he's thinking about your service, if you're a governmental entity that provides services, when they visit the website, the application, the store, when they go out, every single experience matters. I'm a big fan of numbers and examples, so I'll just share with you one example. I cannot reveal the name, but this is actually a true story, a conversational journey. There's a retailer, okay, that has always been using one-way communication. They decided to take it one level up. They launched a website, but things are not as robust as they wanted them to be. So they created a new channel. They have their existing customers that opted in for this WhatsApp channel, but they also can target new customers. They send offers, promotions, and we are in the season of offers and promotions. Ramadan is just about the door. So they experience better engagement. They experience actually 5 times less of the cost on the traditional channels. Leaflets or SMSs, right? Or billboards. This doesn't stop here. So customer can actually pick their products online, on the channel, offline, in any basically form or format. It is consistent across the channels. They then visit the online store or the physical store, they complete their purchase, they do the transaction, the invoice is actually digitally sent to them via their WhatsApp or email, the channel that they choose, or paper, if you don't want to save the earth. And then, of course, there is an instant 5 stars survey. We all see that, right? Where you can provide instant feedback. The results are significant. And again, you're comparing it to the traditional experience. There is up to a 20% increase in sales. Again, we talked about the lower acquisition cost versus the traditional ways, and there is a 60% increase in customer satisfaction in the targeted segment. It works. The other thing that I'd like to talk about is automation. There is a tech convergence out there. It's very expensive to go and look for developers to develop for you a certain channel engagement, so there is this prevalence of low to no code platforms to cater for different customer journeys, because you don't have one customer journey, right? You have different seasons, you have different times, you have different dates. So you need that more with less. You need to push the technology to those who knows the business and don't rely on niche, expensive resources. But this is not enough. You need this platform to be superpowered by AI, so it can automate repetitive tasks, things like FAQs, for example, things like questions that a bot can answer to. And then you need to be able to scale up and down. Ramadan is a season. I need more resources for the platform. Summer is a dead season. Scale down. Thursdays are high demand. Scale up, right? Mondays are low season. Scale down. So you need a powerful and robust platform. I'll give you an example. This is a European insurance company. They serve many customers and they operate globally. They would like to avail the service 24/7, capture every single opportunity out there. How do they do it? One of 2 things. A traditional bot that might actually have a negative impact, or more agents. More agents is a bit expensive. Traditional bot is also more expensive. So a virtual agent that actually be as close to a live agent that can push some of the services to the hands of the clients and that is available 24/7. This is a real example that have seen less than basically 5% error when handling actually the voices or the commands of the client. 96% speech recognition accuracy rate, the highest you can find. 25% of the requests were handled automatically by this virtual agents. That's quarter of the tasks. A great efficiency. And as a byproduct, you save a lot of the actual agents. Maybe you can put them in sales to drive more sales that way. Empathy and personalization is the last pillar, or the third pillar that I'd like to speak about. Who here has suffered from bad customer support? I'll put my hand. Yes, because our expectations are high. Businesses are not ready. They don't understand you, right? So, using conversations, robust platform that we talked about in the previous 2 slides is good, but is not enough. You need hyper-personalization. Again, hyper-personalization is not hi, Ibrahim al-Hamidi, first name, last name. No. Actually, personalization is about recognizing my needs, my wants, my don't likes, right? What time do you actually call me? What time you don't call me? 91% of customers will buy more, will interact more with brands that they actually recognize them. All right? And more so, not just recognition, empathy. You have to know when it's not a good time, when you escalate the conversation, when you actually tune down, when do you send your bot to me to serve me. I've been receiving these calls on almost weekly basis, and I've been telling them, man, put something in your CRM that I don't want these calls anymore. And guess what? I got more calls. So that's the wrong direction of empathy. So what's the solution? Actually, AI and conversation can help you with that. This is a real case of a large bank that has more than 15 million clients around the globe. 7 million clients used the call center last year alone. 7 million. If you're a call center supervisor, you can only supervise 5% of the calls. So I need to be able to supervise all the calls, see what's going on, and provide a better service. I'm out of time. I just have 30 more slides. So, speech analytics, again, we talked about 96% accuracy. In this particular language, it was 95%. What's more important is 100% coverage of all the calls. I can show you what's good, what's bad, what's working, what's not working. And the result is what? Again, we're talking about empathy, decrease in the call direction. This is operational efficiency, but 75% improvement in customer anger ratio. And yes, that's a KPI. Anger ratio, 75% improvement, and 10% decrease in silent rates. If you have a call center, you know how expensive silent rate is, right? So, cybersecurity is no joke, it's a serious matter. Regulator will keep pushing. I'm not going to spend so much time on this, but investment in highly available, reliable, secure platform is no longer an option. It is a must, and customers are willing to give you data if you're going to provide a better service. But if they find out that they cannot trust you with data, they'll walk away and they will shame you actually on every possible platform. So that's something also to be aware about. So, the future of CX, I'm a big believer in that the future of anything belongs to those who prepare for it today. And the key of preparation is actually to meet customers in their moment of need through conversations, not clicks. And you need actually to deploy robust and agile platforms to handle repetitive tasks, because somebody else will do it and clients will walk away, or even worse, will shame you. And of course, you're gathering data in every point. So you should be able to make insights to provide a personal and empathetic experience, because that is possible. And always remember, every experience matters. Thank you very much. I'm out of my time. We don't have time for questions, huh? So any questions? I'm the only person between you and coffee, by the way, so. Sam.
Yes, thank you very much for this presentation. I think it's very engaging to see, we've talked about segments of customers. Until now, we haven't seen, there's also sectors. So usually when we talk about sectors, we talk about the private sectors and companies, and usually you measure growth. So when we look at private sector, there's business, high competition, do or die. But I really was more intrigued into the public sector, the government services.
Yes.
So government services, what's the value, how do we capture the value, and how do you see it going and evolving here in Saudi Arabia or in this region?
Fantastic. I think public services is definitely an area of CX, and some of the public services entities, they're doing a superior job when it comes to customer experience. I'll mention Abshir, for example. There is a step change, right? But the risk for public services is an angry citizen or unengaged citizen, right? And that means extra cost for public sector entities to engage the citizen or find information that they need to find, or more resources to actually carry out processes. So the risk comes from a cost and efficiency perspective for the public sector entities. And you're rightfully correct. I think there is also a great opportunity for public sector to provide better customer services and customer experiences, because they are the biggest service providers, if you wish, in the country. And I know that they are investing tons of time and resources basically to make things happen, and they're doing a pretty fantastic job so far. So there is a great chance in public services. The thing is, when you quantify it from the lost opportunity, in my opinion, and then the extra cost that you have to put in to drive the objectives that you would like to drive in that particular entity, whether it's engagement, information, service. But you're right. And that's why maybe in these keynotes you don't see much of public services CX. But it deserves its time. I agree with you. Any questions? Objections? Thank you very much. You've been very great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.